This show is supported by Odoo. When you buy business software from lots of vendors, the costs add up and it gets complicated and confusing. Odoo solves this. It's a single company that sells a suite of enterprise apps that handles everything from accounting to inventory to sales. Odoo is all connected on a single platform in a simple and affordable way. You can save money without missing out on the features you need. Check out Odoo at odoo.com. That's odoo.com.
Welcome to Unlike-Minded, a sci-fi audio anthology.
Skin and Bone by Robbie Hyne. We were warned. That's all I can think as we stand over the carcass of a large black bear, twisted in the brush, eyes glazed, staring vacantly into the sky, fur matted with blood, shattered bones, and torn flesh. Like whatever killed the poor beast was digging and tearing and ripping for something within it. Not muscle or meat, but its beating heart, maybe even its soul. The locals call them hollow men, banshees of the pine. They told us not to trifle with such horrors. Some things are better left to legend, the old man had said. He lived in a small town, if you could even call it that, with a few others some miles south of where we are now. I swear there was a tinge of reverence in his voice as he spoke of them. Maybe over the years he had come to hold space for the hollow men, a quiet respect for something older and darker in the woods. The glazed cataract in his left eye might even suggest he came face to face with one and lived somehow. Well, if we were looking for a sign, Alexander grimaces, rising from the carcass. I think I'm going to be sick, Ivy groans. Stella shifts behind me to comfort her girlfriend, then guide her away. Alexander follows. But as they move off, I find myself lost in those milk-white eyes, wondering if, though the bear's body lay here, its soul managed to escape into the sky. It's Ollie who stirs me, pressing his warm snout into my hand, a quiet reminder that the others are forging ahead. I blink, the weight of the moment settling in my chest, and I give him a gentle ruffle. Yeah, buddy, I murmur, more to myself than him. Let's keep going. So we do, trekking further into the deepest woods of the Adirondacks. Ollie leads the way, weaving in and out of the foliage, but always stopping to make sure I'm not far behind. At some point, he dives back past me, as though trying to scare off something following us. I turn back, hesitating until some sort of large rodent scurries out of the bushes nearby. I laugh, whistling for Ollie to leave it and lead the way again. He brushes past me to the front, panting, pleased with himself. By the time the sun is starting to set, we've reached a peak just above a valley. A perfect place to make camp, if for no other reason than the view and general tranquility. The greens and reds and yellows of the trees dancing in the breeze. The small, crystal lake below us perfectly reflecting the sun's light. The waft of pine and spruce tinged in earthy dampness, sun-warm rock, and the subtlest metallic tang of decay, a remnant of the bear, still with me. Then, of course, the birdsong, echoing over the soft rustle of the leaves, the buzzing of the insects, the occasional creak of the tree branches, and a low, distant growl with the quietest, unnatural echo. I turn to see if the others hear it too, but they're lost in conversation and campsite setup. While the girls take care of the tents, Alexander zigzags around, checking cameras and mics, making sure every last angle is covered. The sound disappears, swallowed back into the forest. I make a mental note to check the audio recordings to see if they picked anything up. Then I join the others. Only as I set up my tent, I catch Ollie frozen where I just stood on the cliffside, staring down into the valley's vastness. I drop everything and move to his side, but there's nothing out there that I can see. I give Ollie a pat, and he settles, laying down but still staring out. I get back to work. We make good time, able to settle in and eat a quiet meal together before darkness settles over the camp. Normally, Ollie moves to my side while I eat, waiting for me to slip him something, which I always do. But for some reason, he stays planted where he is, laying at the edge and peering out. What do you make of that? I pose to the group, gesturing towards Ollie. A dog being a dog, Luwis? Alexander teases. Maybe he saw a deer or something by the lake, Ivy adds. Or maybe we're on the right track, Stella cautions. Everyone pauses in the tension of that thought. It is what we wanted, after all. But somehow, the closer we potentially get, the more the very idea seeps into our bodies and minds, like some slow-moving poison. I whistle for Ollie. He jumps, but instead of turning back to us, starts barking. It's loud and relentless, carrying down through the valley in echoes, shattering the night. As I get up and approach him, his barking dies down, only to be replaced by a deep, guttural growl. I get the foreboding sense that whatever he was barking at has retreated, but remains out there, hidden, somewhere among the trees. Come on, buddy, I say, pulling him by the collar. He resists. I tug again. He doesn't budge. I crouch to his level, trying to comfort him. It works, I think. He stops growling at least. But as I stand again, I realize that's not the only thing that's stopped. The entire valley is silent now. Not a bird, not a cricket, not even the rustle of the leaves in the breeze. I turn to the others, but before I can even get a single word out, a beautiful fawn trots in my periphery along the tree line, spotlit in the moonlight. It looks right at me, and our eyes stay locked as the comforting sounds of the forest filter back into my ears. Then, the fawn simply moves off, back into the trees. I shake it off, sure my mind is playing tricks on me. As night falls, we take to filming our scenes of the hunt. Alexander introduces the mission: find the hollow men and record them in their natural habitat, proof of their existence. Stella introduces the area we've chosen to camp out. Then Ivy sets the tone of the night, playing on every distant sound in the woods, making up smells and bringing to life her eeriest thoughts, mainly about our solitude. She's always been good at the dramatics. That's where this first night is supposed to end. We stay up a bit longer until the campfire dies down on its own, then resolve to get some sleep. We'll make a plan in the morning for what to capture next. I curl up in my tent with Ollie, huddled for warmth. But no matter how many layers of clothing or blankets or sleeping bags, I can't help feeling frozen to the bone. And through that endless chill, I hear the whispers. At first I assume it must be the girls, maybe as cold and sleepless as I am. But as I lay there, those soft voices grow more incessant, more disjointed, more omnipresent. Coming from this way and that, deep in the woods and closer to my tent, carrying in the wind. I sit up, and Ollie stirs with me. Almost on cue, as if simply by acknowledging them, the whispers die away. I swallow hard. Is this Alexander's idea of a prank? I consider calling out, but Ollie begins to growl again. It's tentative in the kind of way that tells me he's not sure what he's growling at, but is relying on instinct telling him he should. Alexander? I say with trepidation. What calls back isn't Alexander at all. It's the howl of a wolf. There's beauty in its call, but something else too. I can't quite put my finger on it. Maybe Ollie can because he jumps up and nudges at the tent zipper, wanting me to open it. I might consider doing so, except the wolf's howl devolves into a loud cry of pain and distress. Ollie's demeanor shifts instantly, and he begins pawing and scratching at the tent. I try to pull him back, but he fights me. What's going on? I hear Ivy ask. Ollie keeps digging at the tent. Luwis, are you okay? Ivy says again, her voice louder, closer. Ollie stops, staring forward. I hear Ivy approaching and relax, pulling myself up to unzip the front for her. As I do, Ollie dives into the dark. I follow him out, only to realize that Ivy is nowhere around us. I search through the night for my dog and spot him at the cliffside again, where he starts barking more viciously than I've ever heard before. I call out to him. He ignores me. I whistle. He refuses it. The others stir in their tents, poking their heads out of the commotion. I turn to Ivy as she emerges behind Stella, sleepy. Confused, I round back to Ollie. His barking stops, almost like he's finally and completely absorbed in something that I can't see. Something quiet, close, just beyond the cliff. I slide up to him and turn him back to face me, telling him that everything's going to be okay. He fights me at first, but then his face slackens and his head falls into my hand. I smile softly, scratching just above his ear. I swear he smiles back. Then he yelps in pain as he's ripped over the edge and dragged into the dark depths below with one final echoing cry. I scream, falling forward on my hands and knees to look over the cliffside. If he's down there, still alive, it's impossible to see him. I hear the others scrambling behind me, Stella begging me to come back from the edge. I don't move, determined to search the darkness. I see shadowed movement below, then the softest of Ollie's cries. I hope he landed on some kind of protrusion of rock on the way down. Ollie boy, I choke up through the tears. I hear his breathy struggle to bark, and I get the sense that he's right there, just below me, even though I can't see him. I edge out on the cliff, then reach down, pawing at the night for any feel of him. I edge out further, reach further, until those soft cries transform into a deep, disjointed growl that doesn't feel like Ollie at all. Then, before I know what's happening, I'm pulled back from the edge. "No!" I cry out, rounding on Alexander. "What the hell do you think you're doing?" he chastises. I turn to throw myself back down on the cliff's edge, but he pulls me round again. The moment devolves into a screaming match between us, where I all but blame him for bringing us here, even though it's not entirely his fault. Still, in this moment, it's easier to pin the pain, horror, and blame on him than take any responsibility for myself. He throws that back at me, knowing I wanted this too. Our big break, history in the making, proof that we're neither failures nor frauds. I punch him across the face. "Enough!" Stella screams, diving into the fray. "My dog, Stella, he's... I look past her, meeting Ivy's eyes. You spoke to us in our tent. You wanted us to come out." "What?" she stutters, confused. "We were asleep, Luwis," Stella adds. "Maybe you were. Ivy was right next to me when Ollie's barking woke us up." "Luwis?" Ivy pleads as she hesitantly steps forward. I instinctually back away, then catch a pair of eyes in the trees just beyond camp. It's the fawn. I slide forward, ripping Stella's lantern from her, then pushing right past Ivy to get a closer look. The animal doesn't move. As I inch closer, I swear flashes of moonlight break through the trees to reveal a distorted face, a torn forehead, blood dripping from its eyes, and a half-missing muzzle. "What do we do now?" I hear Ivy say behind me, and I realize they think I moved off simply to cry or wallow. How are they so blind? How are they so senseless to everything that's gone on since we've arrived here? Why don't they see what's right in front of... But the fawn is gone again. Only something about it remains, something that coils around my thoughts, choking me from the inside, killing off parts of me, piece by piece. I'm inclined to let it take me. Maybe then I'll see Ollie again. But then a hand grasps my shoulder and I turn back. Suddenly, dizzy and nauseous, I come back to myself. I'm sure even now I am somewhat less than before. I think back to the bear, the tearing and ripping for its soul, and what was left behind. But there's no time to dwell on that. "What the hell, Luwis? You didn't need to be so cruel." My brow furrows. The lantern has gone dark. I shake it, then slap the side until it illuminates the night. Stella's right there, searching my eyes as I look past her to a crying Ivy, disappearing in their tent and zipping it up behind her. She already knows what I'm thinking. I can tell. But she must be as confused or terrified about it as I am, unable to put it to words. Whatever was said to Ivy just now, it wasn't me, but it had my voice. A shiver runs down my spine, and I realize it wasn't her outside my tent earlier either. It was them, I say. "We need to leave," Stella interjects, not even bothering to argue. "Now." "And go where?" "Luwis, he's gone. There's no surviving that fall, I'm sorry." "It's the middle of the night, Stella. Even if we packed up, what makes you think..." "Pack up?" she interrupts. "No, we leave it and get the fuck out of here. Thousands of dollars worth of equipment?" Alexander joins us. "You can't be serious." You know what? Fuck this," Stella continues, undeterred. "You guys do what you want. I'm taking Ivy and we're going back the way we came." She turns on her heels, heading for the tent. "Then why'd you even come?" Alexander yells after her. She stops. "I didn't think they were real, Alex." Then she slides up to her in Ivy's tent, pushing through the open flap. Something about it catches my mind. An inconsistency, though what I can't quite say. Alexander turns his attention to me. "This is what we wanted. To hunt these things. Whatever they are, skinwalkers or..." Before he can finish, Stella's voice rings out through the night, loud and panicked. "Ivy? Ivy? No, Ivy!" Alexander and I hurry to Stella as she reemerges from the tent in tears, rushing this way and that, yelling for her girlfriend. My stomach drops. I recheck their tent. Alexander tries to find some reasoning for her sudden disappearance, but nothing holds weight against Stella's frantic search. Even he knows that Ivy isn't the type to go off alone in the night. We break apart, joining the search. As I move just beyond the campsite, I realize that the forest has gone silent again. Only now I can't help but think it's merely listening to our terror as things devolve, relishing in it, feeding off of it. I stop cold in that thought and slowly back away, holding the lantern up towards the trees. Is this what they want? Is this how they take you? Is the forest in on it? I try to control my breathing and relax my heart rate, matching the silence of the forest. But then, almost in response from somewhere far beyond my lantern's light, Ivy screams. Abandoning all hesitation, Stella darts into the woods. Wait, I call. But when she doesn't respond, I swallow my fear and charge after her. We reach a small clearing and look around. Ivy screams again, somewhere to the east of us. But just as we begin to move in that direction, another of her screams echoes from behind us. Then to the north, southwest, east again, in front of us, behind us, and all around. Everywhere all at once, crescendoing to a break that brings Stella to her knees in loud sobs. I slide over, desperate to calm her. What have we done? She cries. I brought her here. I didn't protect her. I pull Stella in, arguing that none of this is her fault. But every forming word of comfort catches in my throat, choked in that same self-hatred I hold for Ollie. When I look up, the fawn has reappeared in the trees, peeking into the light. We meet each other's eyes and I feel my body go numb. It begins to approach us, entering the clearing. At once, there are two warring parts of me, numbness against reason. A silent beckoning for the fawn to come forward versus a tug in my chest to push Stella away, out of danger. Then as the fawn gets even just a few feet away, anger bubbles to the surface. I rise, letting go of Stella, and march toward the creature, screaming for it to leave us alone. It doesn't move. It doesn't so much as flinch. Luwis! I hear Stella yell behind me. I round back as she screams in pain, a large bear clamping down on her leg and dragging her out of the clearing in the other direction. I dash toward her and make a mad dive for her arms. She slips out at first, but I manage to crawl forward quickly and grab hold of her left hand. The bear pulls us along the forest floor. I can feel the tear in my clothes and cuts to my skin against the ground. In a moment of strength, Stella manages to kick the beast with her free leg, freeing herself. I stand to face it. In the moonlight, I see. It's not just any bear. It's the black bear, a carcass ripped and torn, a shell of itself, reanimated. I pull Stella back slowly, trying not to scare the beast with any sudden moves. It's hopeless. The bear dives at us and clamps down again. Stella screams as it pulls, and my legs fall out from under me. I lose my grip on her and yell at the top of my lungs, only to be drowned out by the ring of a gunshot. Then another, and another. The beast collapses. Stella is free. I turn and see, painted in the moonlight, Alexander has his father's hunting rifle. He moves, joining me to help Stella up. We prop her between us, but just before we move back to the campsite, the forest quiets down again. This time, I know they hear it too, because we all hesitate. We all hold our breath. We all look around, Alexander's gun raised in one arm, the other supporting Stella's side. A soft rustling near us. Then, piercing through the silence and the streaks of moonlight, something very slowly drags the bear's carcass into the darkness. After a few long, tense moments, Alexander fires at whatever it is. I place my hand on the gun, silently urging him to save the ammo. I nod towards Stella, who can barely hold her head up. We have to go back to camp, I say breathlessly. We guide her back, a dense fog rolling in along the forest floor, tracking us, then clouding everything around the site. We set Stella down next to the fire pit. I get a fire started. Alexander paces through the fog, gun raised. In the firelight, it's clear that Stella is pale and fading fast. She's lost too much blood. I move to our supplies for the medical kit. The only problem, the kit is missing. I dig frantically around, then move from tent to tent, finding nothing. Instead, I settle for one of my old sweaters and a bottle of vodka with our food. Then, peering at Alexander, still pacing, I return to Stella and dump the alcohol over her wounds. With everything she has left, she cries out in pain. I apologize profusely as I tear my sweater into pieces to wrap around her leg. As she calms, I sit back, wondering what else I could or should be doing, questions starting to race in my head. After a few moments, Alexander joins us by the fire and settles, lowering the gun. He sighs, relaxing. Maybe that's what pushes me over the edge, because as I dab alcohol along my own wounds, I hiss through the pain and look at him, really look at him. Where were you? I ask. What do you mean? He throws back. When we heard Ivy scream, when Stella and I ran off after, why didn't you come? I did. I was getting the gun. The excuse seems likely enough. But try as I may, I can't shake the accusatory energy I feel towards him. So instead, I refocus on Stella. She's barely there. Her eyes are dim, her breathing shallow. I see the blood pooling on the ground under her leg. I call for water. After a moment, Alexander obliges. I have to force Stella to drink it, and I realize that anything more I can do won't be enough. Please, I whisper, stay with us. As I fall back, I know it's too late, and all I can think is, what have we done? In fractured dreams, I feel the world blur, pulsing at the edges, like the forest is breathing with my heartbeat. Slow, unsteady. There's very little sound, even less light. I smell something I can't quite place. Not rot, something worse. I see the bear again, ripped open, clawed out. I feel the absence within it as if it's my own. I sense what's been taken, more pieces of me, gone with it. I don't fight it, I can't, or I don't want to. I wake with the sunrise. It was Alexander's turn to keep watch with the rifle. He dozed off. The fire has died away, the mist has closed in. My hands are sticky with blood. Hers, I think. Mine, maybe. It's hard to know the difference now. I quietly move to grab the gun from his side, but he stirs as I reach for it. I backtrack so as not to raise much suspicion. I can't trust him. Not anymore. He wonders aloud what the best course of action is, frustrated when I don't respond. I let him seethe in that frustration. He gathers whatever he can of our equipment and his things. I sit by the remains of the fire. I won't be taking anything with me. What's the point? We head down the valley again. I look back at the cliffside. I wonder if I'll ever return to the spot again. I hope not. We reach the crystal lake and I stare at my reflection for some time. Everything about it appears fuzzy, but I can't peel my eyes away. Will it come into focus as time goes on? I hear Alexander somewhere behind me. I rise and turn. He holds out a torn collar. Ollie's torn collar. He found it in the woods, below the cliff. A peace offering? I stare at him for a moment. Then I take the collar and toss it into the lake. Alexander fumbles past me, in shock by my action. For a moment, I consider reaching for the gun slung over his back. I think better of it. I know I will have to take the gun. It's the only way to ensure my safety. But now is not the right time. We continue on. The mist along the forest floor is lifting. Alexander swears he hears unintelligible whispers evaporating with it. Remnants of past horrors perpetually trying to escape the forest. I let him bask in that horror. But things are getting worse. He's becoming more and more paranoid, more anxious and lost. Is the moment approaching? Alexander fights his inner demons until an outward one approaches, a creature that weaves in and out of the pathway ahead of us, guiding our way. It's Ollie, returned. I am overcome. I whistle for him. Ollie stops cold. Then he turns slowly towards us, growling. Alexander wants to shoot him. He brings the gun forward. He aims. The moment is here. I rip it from his arms. Alexander falls back in shock. I aim the gun at Ollie, or what's left of him. He bares shattered teeth, something like blood and tar seeping through the cracks. Alexander is terrified, shaking. He begs me to do it, to fire. My lips curl into a smile. And then, I turn the gun on Alexander. I take in every emotion painted across his face. The paralysis taking hold of his body. The horror overcoming his mind. The truth lands. He looks into my eyes. The eyes of his friend. What once was, at least. He sees, no doubt, the way one of them grows cloudy. In the next moment, something unexpected happens. Every bit of emotion, tenseness, and horror drains out of him, replaced by something calm. Acceptance. My smile fades. The smile of his friend. Then I shoot him once, twice, 3 times in the chest. I stare at the body. Ollie comes to my side. What a pair we make. I give him a gentle ruffle. I take Alexander's bag of equipment and supplies. Then I leave the body to Ollie and continue my journey. I find him, my old friend, in the small town at the fringes of our hunting ground. He's hesitant at first, but finds me somewhere within this form. It's the eye that gives me away first. He touches me, the rough skin, the cuts, the discoloration, the remnants of who was before. He tells me he warned the children, though he knew well they would only take that as fuel for their stupidity. He and the others of the town helped me find my voice, the voice that once belonged to another. After some time in practice, we gather Alexander's things. We set up the camera. I sit in front of it. I see his reflection in the lens. I will be content in this form, though how best to use it remains to be seen. This body and face of a young man lost. For the time, there is but one thing to do. I paint myself in emotion, fear, terror, horror, disgust, exhaustion. I put up a fight to get the words out. I tell my story. How my friends and I ventured into the Adirondacks. How everything was going to plan, until Alexander began losing his grip on himself, on reality. He threw my dog over the cliffside. He took Ivy into the woods, murdered Stella by the fire pit, and beat me within an inch of my life. I clung to life, though, and waited for my opportunity. Alexander destroyed the campsite. In the fire, I was reborn. I ran. He caught up. I killed him. I escaped. I am sure what is left of his body has been mutilated by the forces within the forest. Twisted in the brush, eyes glazed, staring vacantly into the sky, hair matted with blood, shattered bones, torn flesh. Still, I wonder if, though his body lay there, his soul managed to escape into the sky. Maybe he's one of the lucky ones. Or maybe I am. For I found my way back to this town, where the old man and his friends now help me recover. It will be some time before I'm ready to leave this place. But one day, I assure you, I will venture beyond these deepest woods and continue my journey, my story, my hunt.
This has been Unlike Minded, a sci-fi audio anthology. Collection 4, Among Us. Stories about aliens, skinwalkers, and other invaders. Skin and Bone was written by Robbie Hyne and narrated by Patrick Luwis. Unlike Minded is an August year-round production, created, produced, and edited by Robbie Hyne. Our intro and outro music is by Noah James, and our key art is by Brendan Haley. We'd like to give a special thank you to everyone who has supported this independent podcast production. You can keep up to date and find more info about this podcast and others on Instagram at the handle AugustYearRoundProd, by visiting our website, augustyearround.com, or by emailing us at augustyearround@gmail.com. And be sure to subscribe, leave a rating and review, and tune in next week for another episode of Unlike Minded, a sci-fi audio anthology.
The Fable and Folly Network, where fiction producers flourish.